To me, it's risky not to leverage. If I was starting again, it's literally just the hack on how to get the most amount of leverage. I'd find a way to get an American Express business card and I'd pull out 150, 200K and then I just use that to buy 3 or 4 properties right away as deposits.
2025 property market, where are we buying and why?
I'll be buying anything and everything in Melbourne between the city all the way to within an hour of the Melbourne CBD. I'll be buying affordable properties between 300,000 to 600,000 that have a good rental return. And I'll be buying, whether it's a house, a townhouse, a unit, or a villa, anywhere in Melbourne.
Why are you so bullish on Melbourne?
Melbourne's been a very troubled market for the past 4 to 5 years. You can buy properties now cheaper in Melbourne than you could buy them literally like 7 to 10 years ago. Everyone's very negative about the oversupply of units within the Melbourne market, but what people forget is that everyone was very negative about the oversupply of units within the Brisbane market as well. When I was buying heavily in Brisbane, 6 years ago, people would sell their units in Fortitude Valley or Brisbane as an example for a massive loss, and now since Brisbane's increased, those units have doubled in value. So the units don't plateau forever. The units in Melbourne, I believe, are massively undervalued. I bought dozens and dozens of units myself within the Melbourne CBD, and then even blocks of units in the surrounding suburb not far from Melbourne. But 99% of the people would say do not buy a unit because there has been shit growth and no growth in Melbourne. But that's why I arguably believe that they're going to explode over the next 5 years.
So they've been flat for so long, and now it's going to be that boom period, like what you've seen.
100%. And units in general, like there was an oversupply in Brisbane. In terms of units, but then sooner or later, there was no oversupply because, population grew, demand and all that other kind of stuff. And then the units doubled in value. So yes, if someone bought a off the plan unit in Brisbane or Fortitude Valley back in 2010, the next 10 years after that to 2020, it had no growth. But then 2020 to 2025, 2026, they doubled in value. So even oversupply of units, you can still make a lot of money if you time the market right.
And where wouldn't you buy right now?
I would not buy in Perth right now. Depending on the market, I would not buy in Adelaide right now. Adelaide's massively overpriced. Like you and me both bought properties for $100,000 and now they're like 500,000-600,000.
I know it's very tempting to sell
in 5 years. So I would not buy in Adelaide, would not buy in people buying in Northern Territory. I wouldn't buy there. It's not big enough. I'd rather buy in Melbourne.
Yeah, this doesn't seem as sustainable. There's no Olympic Games and there's
100,000 people that live there. You can buy a property for $400,000 and you can in Northern Territory, or you can buy a property in $400,000 in Melbourne where there's 7 million people. Like, what would you prefer?
Next question. What are the 3 dumbest property moves you see every week?
First dumbest property move is getting really emotional about it. I've been guilty of it myself. I bought that piece of shit house at the beach in Noraville and
nightmare.
Yeah, and it's been the fucking worst property I've ever bought. So getting too emotional, like I bought that and I was like, it's 3 properties in one. I'll rent out the other 2 and I'll use the other spare one as a place that I can go to, take the family to and go on holidays and vacations. But it was just purely bought with emotion because it was next to the beach and it's been the worst performer ever. So I'd say that would be the main one, just getting too emotional about what property you're buying.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I find that people are just not refinancing, getting their cash out. They're sitting on so much equity and they've bought heaps good deals from you and they're doing fuck all about it, or they don't go ahead for the next one. I'm like, bro, you bought something for $200,000 and now it's worth $500 in like 2 years. And they're not pulling equity out. Like, what are you doing, man? You're missing all this opportunity.
One of my first 10 clients back in like 2017 literally just commented on a video the other day and said, I didn't actually know I could take equity out and use it to buy more.
Are you fucking serious?
And they bought a property.
Can I read your book, mate?
I got them a property in Logan for like $150,000 and now it's worth like $450,000. And they're like, yeah, my loan's $129,000. And I'm like, why the fuck haven't you bought the next property yet? You could have bought like 5 or 6. You literally cost yourself $1 million by not doing anything.
I think the other dumbest one that I see, people not fucking using their super, man. Like, you got 100 G's in super, you should be getting that out ready to go, seeing the deal, get a pre-approval, and let's go. Like that one I bought for 212, held it for 2 years, worth 365, walk away with like 150, 160 grand cash, then go and buy 3 more. Like, no industry super fund is fucking doing anything like that. Like, my super balance or asset value is probably more than people in the retirements, their 60s. It was just from one fucking property, which then leveraged into something else. And the amount of people that have gone, I've got 100 grand, I've got 200 grand in super. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, missing huge opportunities. That's real dumb.
Yeah, super is based on the return on capital. Like, if you bought your property for 212, let's say you put down 50K including costs, and you've turned that into 150, or or 200K including that, you've quadrupled your money within 2 years.
That's crazy.
Which would take the equivalent of 30 years if you just left it in super.
and literally bought a butthole.
Yeah.
Like it was not a flash property.
Yeah.
And look what it
Townhouse in Red Bank Plains.
did. That's it. So, fucking people who decide to buy cars instead of property. Don't buy your cars until you got the assets. 100%. Unless it's a Tesla and you're doing it through business FBT free. Then that's a good idea. But buying cars before houses is bad. It'll keep you broke.
Yeah, like I had 14 properties. I was still driving around $1,000 Holden Astra. So yeah, buy as many properties as you can before you spend money on cars.
Yeah, my third property. I went to Newcastle permanent. I got a loan of 15 grand, and I was like, I'm going to buy this car for 15 grand. That's great. And then I was like, I could probably use that money to go put a deposit down. It was that property in Davern Park for 125 grand. And I then went and bought a $2,000 car, and then I put the rest of that money in that deposit into that property, which I bought for 125. It's now valued at 425, like 7 years later. I could have bought the shit car and missed that property. That's one where I don't recommend going using a personal loan, but
I've done it. Yeah, I've, for the record, used a personal loan as a deposit to buy a property.
If I didn't buy that property, if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't have had access to the equity to go number 6, number 7, number 8.
Yeah, if I was starting again, it's literally just the hack on how to get the most amount of leverage. I'd find a way to get an American Express business card, and I'd pull out 150, 200K, and then I just use that to buy 3 or 4 properties right away as deposit.
Well, that's pretty fucking audacious.
I would not recommend that to everyone.
Yeah, that's
but I would definitely do that.
Yeah, okay.
I would find a way to get massive amount of leverage, 500K or $1 million worth of loan, and then take that 500K or $1 million worth of loan, and then use it to buy 4 or 5 million worth of property.
Yeah, look,
and then
I usually talk about a guarantor or something a little bit, a little bit more step 1, not step 50 of fucking let's go max out Amex cards right off the bat. But yeah. I suppose that's the difference between you and I, right? Yeah, good one. All right, there's some dumb shit. Okay, well, leverage versus risk. People think property investing is risky and all this stuff, but we see it as leverage.
To me, it's risky not to leverage.
Oh, shit.
Because with the way the world works with inflation, if you don't leverage equity to buy more property or leverage your time, like other people's time to help, whether you scale property or business or whatever it is, when you look at it from 10, 20, 30 years down the track, you'd be like, it's just the similar scenario from when you're buying a property using superannuation to when you're not. Like I've made 40 years worth of growth, what would have been in super by buying a property. So I've done something in 2 years, which would have took 40 years. So when you look at it from a very long-term perspective, if you don't leverage, if you don't take calculated risks, well, then you are at the risk of being in the same position and not doing anything with your life.
And that is literally our parents' generation, right? They didn't take out any fucking debt. Buy one property, pay it off, that's it.
Yeah.
Super's doing fuck all. Age pension won't be around when we're there.
Yeah.
So like if you're not leveraging up, you are lamb to the slaughter of the same old shit.
100%. Like it's the herd mentality. If you follow the herd, you get herd results. And if you do something different and you take massive risks and are very ambitious, well, then you'll get ahead. If not, then you'll stay in the same spot.
There you go. That was cold. There was a lot in that. Hated to love it. The underdog's on top, some might say. Biggest lies in property investing?
Some of the biggest lies in property investing, everything. To me, the standard narrative that 9 out of 10 property, like pretty much 99% of all property investors have, is just complete lies. The lies that data is key, the lies that, houses grow more or houses are better investments than other types of properties. Like I've got almost 200 properties now, and anywhere between 150 to 200 properties, I don't even know. But most of those are not houses. Most of those are blocks of units, townhouses, villas, some commercial property as well. But I've probably got the smallest proportion of houses in my portfolio of almost 200. And if you look at other people that have large portfolios of 20, 50, 100, thousands of properties, like no billionaire is talking about how many houses they own in fucking, Newcastle. No billionaire is talking about that. No. But a billionaire would own massive amount of blocks of units.
Yeah.
Right? So billionaires would own, like if you look at Grant Cardone and all the the big players in America, they're not talking about buying fucking houses. They're talking about buying multi-family dwellings, unit blocks. Why is that? Because you get a better leverage on it. You can buy bigger stuff. You get better cash flow. You've got lower risk because you've got more doors and more incomes coming in. So if the billionaires are fucking doing it, well, that means then everyone else who isn't doing it is wrong, or they're just trying to aim too small. And I'm not in the game of trying to aim too small. and buy fucking 10 houses and say, yay, passive income. Like it's all bullshit. I'd rather, yes, you can buy houses, but you should only be as a stepping stone to buy bigger and better stuff like a block of units.
Oh, absolutely. And like I even taking that one step back, like buying units, like I bought stuff for 150 that's now worth 450, 500, you know what I mean? And like the percentage wise is a lot higher than say a house. You know, the number dollar difference might be a bit different, but in terms of just getting started, getting your equity to then get going, to then go buy a small block of 4 or 6 or 8, that's the shit you need to get leverage on. Otherwise, oh, I got 1 or 2 houses, then I'm like tapped out, or I want to pay that off as soon as possible and then not leverage. Like start those small ones. But yeah, all the like out of my 22 properties, what I got like 3 houses, the rest are all units and townhouses, and they've all fucking performed so well.
3 houses out of 22, yeah.
Like it's crazy, you know, and I find that the units are just easier. Like, yes, you pay a bit of strata. Yes, it covers your insurance, like all that stuff, but it's just getting something in the market doing the heavy lifting. Like if we're not getting into a unit or I'm going to wait for a house, well, the market's just going to fucking get away from me. You know what I mean? And then you want to get the equity and then go buy a block and then more blocks. Absolutely.
Most people have a budget of, you know, if let's say the average person has a budget to buy an investment property of 500,000-600,000, right? Or let's say the average to low kind of people have a budget of 600K. I would rather buy a unit in an amazing location than a house in a piece of shit location. So I would compromise on the type of property, not compromise on where the property's at.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because like everyone's buying in fucking regional areas, which are just piles of shit. And now every buyer's agent's like, oh, buy in regional because there's no competition. We're trying to buy properties out there. So they're like, oh, yeah, buy in regional. It's going to be great. Yeah. Like dumb. I would much rather buy a unit in a really good affluent neighborhood, such as one of the ones we recently picked up for a client, multiple properties, units, villas, townhouses that we picked up in St. Kilda in Melbourne. Some of them for like 300,000, 400,000. Now, I would rather buy a $400,000 property in St. Kilda than a $400,000 house in Broken Hill in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. There, you're going to have a better amount of growth, better amount of rental yield in a better area.
Absolutely.
Lower vacancies and so on and so forth. So don't compromise on the location.
Get into the units while you can. Yeah, right. Well, I reckon that's probably it. But the last thing is like, is there one mistake that you made that you go, I wish I didn't do that? And like, what was the flow on from that? Like, is there a property or complex or purchase that you missed and you go, fuck, if I had my time again, I would have totally done that. And you've probably got 100 of them. But is there one that really sticks out?
There's a block of units in Strathfield, and one of another buyer's agent bought it, and I was going to buy it, but I bought this building we're sitting in instead.
Okay.
But it was a block of 22 units in Strathfield, and congratulations to that person. But I would drive past it all the time, and I'm like, fuck, I wanted to buy that.
Well, I can say congratulations to me because I get to sit in your office, so this works out well. I remember there was a property just before my wedding. It was in Redbank, I think. There was like a house in a shitload of land.
Lyle Street.
And you told me to buy it, and I didn't. And I regret that a lot.
I remember that. It was massive, 1,200 square meter block.
It was huge.
It was a 3-bedroom house, huge block, and it was like 450, 500 or something like that.
I think it was cheaper than that.
Yeah, maybe 430 or something like that.
Be like
and that would literally be 900,000 now, 950.
I remember paying off my credit cards that I had at the time for the wedding, and I was like, should I buy this property? And I put some money into crypto, and it went down, and I had 3 credit cards. I was at max, and I was like, I could probably maybe buy this property and work it out later. That cost me $500,000 for being an idiot. Yeah. So that one gets me.
You got to stretch yourself to the max. It's the only way to feel alive.
You got to leverage up, baby.
Leverage up.
All right. I reckon that'd be a wrap.
Good enough.